What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for our Royal Rumble review for January the 31st, 2020. This was a really good show up until the main event. No complaints about anything else other than that main event in that piss poor way that they have already booked the road to WrestleMania. I am happy with the Women's Royal Rumble winner. The Universal title match was great. The world title, the WWE Championship match was done over and the right person won. The Women's Championship for Smackdown, the right person won, and nothing else there you can really say. Those are the matches. Now, of course, there was another match announced, and it was Asuka and Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. That match got bumped to the pre-show for the simple fact that everyone but Asuka is in the Women's Royal Rumble match. So, we had the match. It was fine. Lacey Evans comes out. Well, Ric Flair distracts his daughter and the referee and everyone else. Lacey Evans prevents a figure eight. Then gets brass knuckles from Ric Flair. Hits a Charlotte Flair who's not seen it coming. Big leg drop by Nia Jax after Asuka was thrown over the announce desk. And we have ourselves new tag team champions. Not much else I can say about that. Then we got to the main card, and the first match of the night was not a Royal Rumble match. It was the WWE Championship, as Goldberg challenged Drew McIntyre before the match could even begin. Drew McIntyre hits a headbutt. They brawl for a bit, spear into the barricade. Match goes 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Goldberg gets hit with a Claymore, 1, 2, 3, and Drew McIntyre retains the championship. Drew McIntyre did kick out of the jackhammer, so he's the only other guy besides Brock Lesnar to kick out of the jackhammer. Hopefully, which I doubt it, this is the last time we see Goldberg in 2021. I would not be surprised if we do see him at WrestleMania. I don't want to see him at WrestleMania challenging for a title or fighting anybody in general. But that is what WWE went with, and thankfully we did not have the continuation of Goldberg challenging for championships. And Goldberg looks so old. Like, my God. He looks a shell of his former self. Dude should not be anywhere near the wrestling ring. And, my goodness, man, he looked bad. At least he didn't drop somebody on the head, let's just say that. So, then we go to the Smackdown Women's Championship match, Carmella versus Sasha Banks. Of course, this match is happening because Sasha Banks had a match of sorts with Reginald, her sommelier, Carmella sommelier, and it was pretty much Cirque du Soleil in WWE, and it was very entertaining. It was something different. I had no problem with it, and this is what we're getting, is this match here. Of course, Sasha Banks goes out there and shows you why she's one of the best, why she should be SmackDown Women's Champion going into WrestleMania. There ain't nobody who should be taking this title off of Sasha Banks until we get to the match at WrestleMania. Does everything she can to make Carmella look as good as she can. Carmella tries every way possible to get the championship away from Sasha Banks. Reginald does get ejected from the match, if I'm correct. And then there was even a code of silence on Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks still refused to tap out. Looks like for a second there that Carmella was going to win with I think it was a DDT. But that doesn't work. So she drags Sasha Banks back into the middle of the ring. Sasha Banks pulls her down, gets her into the bank statement, and she taps out. And that is that. So Sasha Banks keeps the championship. I have no problems with that. Decent match overall. We see the New Day backstage after the match talking. The New Day, of course, Xavier Woods and Big E, they're both going to be in the Rumble. And if you didn't see it on social media, you really can't tell. Their gear was tributed to Brody Lee. There's a picture online of the back of Xavier Woods' jacket, and it's Brody Lee's face. It is fucking awesome. I don't really care about gear most of the time, but this was awesome. They're talking a bit, wanting to hype themselves up for the Royal Rumble. In comes Sami Zayn to bitch, moan, whine, and complain as he usually does. Kofi Kingston makes his return. Even though he's not cleared for the match tonight, he still wanted to be here to hype up his boys. And that was that. And we move on to the Women's Royal Rumble match. The number 1 is Bayley, the former SmackDown Women's Champion, is now number 1 in the Royal Rumble. Number 2 is Naomi making her return. We haven't seen Naomi in months. That I'm surprised that Naomi's been gone for so long, but I know she had some kind of knee surgery, I believe it was, a couple months ago, like 6 or 7 months ago, and that's why she's been gone. Which Bayley, for some reason, came out, and Jerry Lawler was on commentary. She wasn't happy about that. She's like, I shaved coal in the back of my head. And I'm like, why would you do that? I know you have this shtick going on SmackDown you've been doing since the pandemic started. And you had that show where Triple H was on commentary with Michael Cole, which was fucking hilarious. Triple H stole the show that night, but still. No reason to shave Michael Cole in your head. Just saying. So, great to see Naomi back again. They have a match for a bit. Out comes Bianca Belair, a lot of people's favorite to win this match. She hits the ring, drop kicks Bayley, then kicks up in a pop. Belair tries to dump Bayley out, but she hangs on. Bayley fights back, but gets caught up with a big spine buster. Belair with a moonsault to Bayley. Naomi and Belair go at it now. Naomi avoids an elimination, as does Belair. Belair sends Naomi to the apron, and Bayley tries to dump both of them out. Out comes number 4, Billie Kay, who sees what's going on in the ring and says, Goes sits down on commentary, which I'm like, great. First, we have a waste of a slot for Billie Kay, and then we have to listen to her on commentary. Not so much, but we still had to listen to her on commentary. So, Naomi works on Bayley, and Belair and Naomi work on Bayley in the ring. Kay goes in, of course, takes a seat, putting her headset on the commentary. She passes out of her resume and photo to the action, continues in the ring. She says she's thinking about joining the match. Belair almost gets eliminated, but she brings it back in. Timer starts up, and out comes Shotzi Blackheart with her tank. And the shtick of it is for the next few entrants is that Billie Kay comes from the commentary to try and get one of these women to team up with her to, run the field to do all this. She comes to Shotzi, and Shotzi shoots her missile at her, so she's back to commentary. Shotzi gets in the ring, fights Bayley off. Shotzi flies over the top rope with a missile dropkick to Bayley. Shotzi unloads on Bella now, and then Naomi and her have some time together. And hold on here. Where did it go? So, sorry, as I was saying, the number 6 entrant is Women's Tag Team Champion Shayna Baszler. Of course, Billie Kay gets up and is like, oh, this is going to be great. I can team up with Shayna Baszler. Goes over there. Shayna doesn't want anything to do with her. She punches the 8x10 and then heads into the ring. Billie Kay goes back to commentary. Baszler goes in and rocks Shotzi, then Naomi, then Belair. Baszler and hits Baszler with a big knee to Shotzi, then knees to Naomi and to Bayley. Baszler drives Naomi into the mat. Shayna works on Belair on the ropes. Shotzi tries to dump Bayley. Naomi helps Belair work on Baszler. The timer starts up, and out comes Toni Storm. Billie Kay goes over there too. Toni has her glasses off, pulls them down a little bit, looks over, doesn't care, and walks into heads to the ring. So again, Billie Kay heads to commentary. So Storm and Shotzi go at it in the ring. Storm drops her on her head. Storm with a big suplex to Bayley. Storm with corner splashes to Shotzi and Naomi. Naomi with a rear view to Storm. As Kay rejoins the announce table, Baszler eliminates Blackheart out of nowhere. Number 8 is Jillian fucking Hall. Yes, that's right. We have to listen to You Know You Want Me. God. Kay is thrilled. She runs over as Hall sings her way to the ring. Kay offers her resume in 8x10 and wants to team up with Hall, like Billy and Jillian team name. She's like, I love it. They get into the ring. Double suplex on Naomi. Hall with the cartwheel on Naomi. They try to dump Naomi, but she hangs on. Bayley attacks Baszler, and out comes Ruby Riott. Now, Ruby comes out, and Billie Kay wants to have that alliance that she had for about a hot second with the Riott Squad. So she's telling Jillian that they need to help Ruby Riott. And every time that they try to help Ruby Riott wants nothing to do with them and moves away from them. So, number 10 comes out, and it's the crazy Vixen Victoria making a return to WWE. She looks great. She looked absolutely great. I don't know what her methods are or anything, but she looked like she hasn't aged a day. Of course, she's probably got all her, Botox and all that shit, but I don't know. She marches in the ring as Bayley pleads with her as a fan. She drops Bayley instead. Victoria rocks Storm and others, then Kay and Hall at once. Victoria levels Bayley again. Then Riott with a big side slam scoops Bayley up and slams her again. Victoria is drop kicked by Naomi out of nowhere. Naomi kicks Victoria out, but she goes through the ropes. She fights and launches herself over the top rope with a leg drop, and out comes number 11, Peyton Royce. Royce takes her time getting to the ring, doing her poses and everything. Royce and Ryan go at it for a moment. Royce unloads and sends her into the apron, but she hangs on. Royce attacks Victoria, and then Billie Kay gets over there. They have a little bit of unation. They reunite for a minute. They're about to do the iconic thing, but Billie Kay and Ruby Riott have a stare down, so that's like, Peyton Royce is like, what the fuck? Royce levels Bayley with a version of the Victoria's Widow's Peak, which Victoria is not happy about. So she picks up Peyton Royce and shows, this is how you do this, chick, and hits her with the Widow's Peak. Number 12 is Santana Garrett from NXT. Santana hits the ring, which I don't know why you pick Santana Garrett out of everybody down there, from Casey Catanzaro to Lacey Lane to anybody else, and you pick Santana Garrett. Okay, then. She hits the ring, goes out with Storm. Santana fights off Ruby and splashes. And they could have won with Mercedes Martinez in this spot. I think that would have been huge. Gee, after everything's been going on with Mercedes Martinez, I wonder if she regrets not being able to, wonders if she, has thoughts of, why didn't AEW sign me? Because I could have been useful for them. Santana fights off Ruby and splashes them both in the corner. Santana works on Ruby. Victoria and Belair go at it. Kay works on Bayley in the corner. Storm and Santana work on Ruby now. Belair fights back in after Royce tried dumping her. The 13th entrant is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan runs wild and takes out Bayley, then Belair. Belair attacks, but Liv and Ruby double team her. Jillian runs in, ruins their celebration. Jillian turns on Kay and drops her. Liv and Ruby try to eliminate Hall, but the fight's back and Kay eliminates Jillian, which she is all happy about. Liv and Ruby eliminate Kay. Rhea Ripley is in at number 14 to a big phoned-in pop. Ripley rushes the ring and starts dropping bodies, which, by the way, this entire thing, I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is the Royal Rumble. I wish they could have found a way to get fans, even on the side where the camera's at. Because you're just watching this and you have Jillian Hall come back, which is terrible. You have all these things. You have, Rhea Ripley making her presumed close to main roster debut. I'm pretty sure she's coming up to the main roster soon, and all these other people, and it's just you don't have those reactions, and it sucks. She wrestles the ring and starts dropping bodies, eliminates Storm. Baszler eliminates Victoria with a careful clutch over the top rope. Ripley eliminates Santana Garrett, and out comes Charlotte fucking Flair. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one who's please tell me she's not winning this. Baszler stops Bayley from getting dumped by Naomi. Belair works on Ripley. Flair takes her time getting down to the ramp. Liv works on dumping Royce. Flair enters and levels Ripley, then Liv. Flair chops Ripley several times. Ripley fights back. Flair drops her on her head, and then kips up again. Flair levels Naomi with a big boot. Bayley eliminates Ruby by going under the bottom rope, which that was very interesting. You had Ruby Riott trying to eliminate somebody on the apron. Bayley sees this and is like, I'm just going to eliminate you by sliding under the bottom rope and hitting her with a powerbomb. I thought that was a very creative way to eliminate somebody. Flair levels... Oh, hold on. Dana Brooke is in at number 16, waste of space. Dana rocks Ripley and flies off the top rope to drop kick Liv and Bayley at once. Dana goes back to the top with the senton to a group of superstars. Brooke stands tall for a pop now. Baszler and Flair are tied up in the corner. Brooke misses a cartwheel elbow on them in the corner, but rocks Belair in the other corner. Brooke drops Bayley now and goes to work on Ripley. Royce tries eliminating Liv. Royce eliminates Liv, saving Bayley. Hall of Famer, I can't believe I have to say that, Hall of Famer Tori Wilson is in at number 17. Again, not deserving of a Hall of Fame, but hey, whatever. Tori enters, hit the swinging neckbreaker on Naomi, then drops Belair. Tori takes out Dana next, then Bayley talk trash with Tori, hits a suplex. Tori drops Flair next. Dana sends Ripley flying across the ring. Dana tries to dump Ripley, but she hangs on. Dana tries again, but Ripley powerbombs her on the apron. Dana's eliminated, the music is out, and out comes Ric Flair for number 18, and out comes shredding Lacey Evans in a Ric Flair robe. And you know that's going to piss off Charlotte Flair. Lacey gets close to the ring, and Charlotte just goes all hand with her on the outside. She's beating her up. She's like, take this thing off. You can see feathers coming from the rope floating into the ring. Evans rolls under the bottom rope, and Flair follows her, beating her up, pulling the rope off. Ripley works on Baszler in the ring now. Bayley has Royce down. Flair comes back and eliminates Royce. Tori fights back in from the apron, but Baszler eliminates her with a knee. Mickie James is out now. She decks Evans at ringside. Before entering, Bayley was eliminated as Belair as Mickie made her entrance. Way to treat the former 380-day reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. An elimination that we as the fans don't see. I'm sorry, that's just a little disrespectful in my opinion. Bayley deserves a little bit better than that. Mickie and Flair have words as Mickey's like, I've been waiting for this for a very long time. So they size up, they go at it. Flair unloads with some chops. Belair is down in the corner by herself. Naomi works on Ripley. Mickie goes to the top and sends Flair flying with the scissors. Baszler is also down in the corner by herself. Flair works on dumping Mickie, but she hangs on, and out comes Nikki Cross with her terrible music that does not fit her one fucking bit. Cross goes ham, hitting a bulldog on Belair, then a crossbody on Baszler, and taking out everybody and anybody. She hit a couple tornado DDTs. Ripley grabs Cross, but gets rocked with a throat shot. Cross with a tornado DDT on Ripley. Mickie works dumping Naomi. Cross drops Flair. Evans works on Baszler. Then out comes, as they called her, but she's not, another legend, Alicia Fox. Then, as Alicia Fox gets to the ring, R-Truth's music hits. He runs to the ring. She yells at him and he tries to run away, but here comes Drew Gulak, Lucha House Party, Akira Tozawa, Humberto Carrillo, and other 24/7 losers. He gets in the ring. Him and Alicia Fox are knocking everybody off the apron. So Alicia Fox rolls up R-Truth. 1, 2, 3. Takes the 24/7 championship. Good fucking grief. She solidifies her shitty career with the 24/7 championship. Out comes Mandy Rose at number 22. Fox raises the title in air and dances around with it. Rose hits the ring and decks Fox. Rose and Fox brawl around the ring. Evans and Baszler work on Belair. Flair works on Cross. Rose eliminates Fox. Truth rolls Fox up and gets the title back. Good fucking grief. Yes, they had time for the Women's Royal Rumble to have R-Truth get in the ring, get rolled up by a woman. She gets eliminated a few minutes later, and then he rolls her up to win the title back. That just shows you how much Vince McMahon and WWE really care about the Women's Royal Rumble. Spoiler alert, they didn't do that. They didn't repeat this in the Men's Royal Rumble. Just shows you how much WWE actually cares about the Women's Rumble. If you're going to have time to book that spot. Could have did it during the men's, but no, they decided, we're going to do it the women's because we really don't care about the women's. We just did it to look like we actually care, but we don't. So, Rose drops Cross. Araya goes to work on Evans. The 23rd entrant is Dakota Kai. She heads to the ring, levels Cross, then Mickie, then brawls with Ripley. Flair works on Belair in the corner. Rose works on Evans in another corner. Kai and Ripley go at it some more. Cross works on dumping Baszler. Evans fights Flair off. Evans eliminates Mickie with a woman's right. Belair almost eliminates Naomi, but she hangs on. The 24th entrant is Carmella, which, really? You couldn't give us another NXT woman. You had to give us Carmella, who just less than an hour ago, actually, no, just the match before this, actually, had a women's championship opportunity. Why is she in this match? She just had an opportunity for the Women's Championship and lost clean. I can understand maybe if, she lost by nefarious means or got screwed, that they're like, well, we're going to give you makeup. We're going to make it up to you by giving you a championship opportunity by winning the Royal Rumble. That would make sense, but this doesn't make any sense. Ripley ends up eliminating Dakota Kai by powerbombing her or slamming her onto the apron. That looked nasty. And Rose, as Carmella takes her time getting to the ring, while Reginald hydrates Cross at her. Cross sends Carmella back out, but Reginald catches her. Cross charges, but Carmella rocks her with the apron. Carmella eliminates Cross. Tamina Snuka's out next. As Tamina is getting to the ring, Reginald has Carmella in his hands again. Couldn't really tell who knocked her off of there because we were paying more attention to Reginald holding her. He turns around as Tamina is sizing him up, and he throws Carmella, so Carmella lands on her feet. She's been eliminated, and he eats a super kick. So, there you go. Snuka enters the ring and faces off with Ripley. They start brawling in the middle of the ring. Belair sends Naomi over the top apron, but she hangs on. Baszler works on dumping Flair. Evans and Ripley working on Snuka. Naomi is kicked to the floor by Evans and Belair, but she lands on her back and keeps her feet in the air. Naomi grabs Belair's hair. Yeah, so this pisses me off. I know the rule is you have to have both feet touch the floor, but it's fucking stupid to have Naomi laying on her fucking back and say, oh, she's not eliminated because her feet haven't touched the floor. Are you kidding me? That is so fucking stupid. But they did get a creative way for her to get back in the ring because for whatever reason, because Bianca Belair was laying on the apron, she wasn't going to get eliminated because she was she fell in the ring and her head was outside the ring. But her hair is that long, stretchy fucking, probably a bunch of extensions, but Naomi grabs that, pulls herself up till her legs touch the mat, and gets herself back onto the apron, and they're both holding up by their legs, which, honestly, why did nobody see that and go, well, I'm going to eliminate both of them and knock them both out, but they didn't do that. So they used their momentum at the same time to pull themselves back into the ring. And that was your escape from getting elimination for the night, because there's not one that happens in the men. It's because Kofi Kingston was not in the Rumble this year. Number 26 is Lana, which fucking Jerry the King Lawler was just like oozing over. This woman has been gone since before TLC with a fake ass injury because they wanted to bring Charlotte Flair back. The only reason Charlotte Flair won the tag team titles is because they wanted to bring her back and make her Grand Slam champion. She stops at the ringside, taking it all in. She just gets in this. Looks like she just gets in this little bit of a trance and then goes immediately for Rhea Ripley. Snuka's next Lana. Snuka beats up on Lana in the corner. Naomi with the big running split to Belair. Belair gets tossed but hangs on and decks Naomi on the way in. Flair works on Baszler in the corner. Lana fights back with Snuka. Lana turns over and tries to dump Evans, but 27 comes out, and it's Alexa Bliss. Now, I like what Alexa Bliss is doing, but I didn't think she was going to win the Rumble, and I didn't think she needed to win the Rumble. So, she comes out, drops Naomi, Lana, and Snuka, and Ripley, while smiling for Ripley tackles Bliss, and everybody just jumps on her, except for Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte stays out of it because she's supposed to be a babyface. Who really cares? They all beat up on her because they don't want her to transform. They left her dead. They left her dead in the middle of the ring. Lights go down some in the virtual crowd. Bliss starts to transform into a darker version in the middle of the ring. She walks to the ropes with the look of death on her face. Looks like she's about ready to transform, but Ripley throws her over the top rope and eliminates her, and that was all for Alexa Bliss, and that's all she was going to do. The 28th entrant is Ember Moon. She goes to the ring and hitting the Eclipse on Baszler, making her roll to the floor. It looks like Moon dropped Ripley next. Moon drops Naomi with a drop kick now, Moon with a double top rope move to Snuka and Flair. Now Lana tries to dump Moon, doesn't work, and out comes Nia Jax. as Moon drops Lana. Jax helps Baszler at ringside and they hit the ring together. They unload on Naomi. Baszler eliminates Evans. Moon goes for Baszler. Jax eliminates Moon. The champs double team Naomi and eliminate her. Jax and Shayna Baszler have some words over Snooker and Jax as Snooker and Jax look face to face. And Jax is like, I'm sorry, we're tag team champions, but she's family. She's family. Baszler's like, what the fuck? But it was all a ruse as they eliminate Snooker. Jax and Baszler now start fighting each other. Ripley attacks Baszler to break it up. Jax goes for Flair. Baszler slams Ripley in her face. Jax grabs Baszler and tosses her for the elimination. Baszler, of course, is shocked, and Jax is like, I'm sorry, I had to do it. I just had to do it. Lana jumps on Jax's back, but gets slammed. Lana gets up and slaps Jax, which pisses her off. And like an idiot, she runs full steam ahead and ends up falling victim to the I'm pulling the ropes down to make sure you get eliminated, and makes her look like an idiot. So Lana eliminates Nia Jax. Number 30, as we knew, was Natalya. Jax and Baszler drop Natalya at ringside. They enter the ring and attack others, including Ripley, then Belair, then Flair. And the referees order the champs out of the ring, and they finally leave. Now, here's my thing. You guys, you just got embarrassed by Lana. Why wouldn't you go in there, beat her up, throw her over the top rope, and then go and throw her through the announce table like you've done countless times? This just like, you've been doing that for months, and now you decide, well, we're not going to do it because we don't want to do it. Come on, man. If you're going to go with it, just go with it, for crying out loud. So the one last thing they do is they throw Natalya back into the ring. Ripley, let's see here. Jax rolls Natalya in the ring. It's down to Natalya, Flair, Belair, Ripley, and Lana. Natalya checks on Lana and hugs her, but then attacks her from behind and drops her. She eliminates Lana. Natalya levels Flair with a discus clothesline. Natalya beats Belair down in the corner. Natalya sends Belair to the apron, but she hangs on. Ripley approaches her, but Natalya drops her on her head. Ripley counters and fights with Natalya some more. Natalya has her on the apron. Belair runs over and eliminates Natalya for a pop. It's down to Flair, Ripley, and Belair. Flair smiles as she looks around the ring. And Belair sees what's happening. All three superstars get to their feet as they fake crowd cheers them on. They meet in the middle, and Ripley and Belair know what they need to do, and that's eliminate Charlotte Flair, because if they don't eliminate Charlotte Flair is going to eliminate them, and everything they fought for will be for nothing. So they beat up on her. Flair points at the WrestleMania 37 while staring at Ripley. They brawl. Flair and Ripley take counters at the ropes. Flair drops Ripley. Flair charges with a big boot, but Ripley ducks and sends her to the apron, but she hangs on. Ripley runs in with a boot. Belair with a cartwheel and stuns Flair on the apron. Belair and Ripley knock Flair off the apron. Elimination with a double team. Belair is taunting Flair now. Ripley comes from behind and dumps her over the top, but they both end up hanging to prevent their feet from touching. They pull them back up. When they're sitting in the apron, staring at each other, and Ripley tells Belair to calm down, don't do anything stupid, and they slowly crawl back into the ring. They have a bit of a mini match. Riptide missed and KOD blocked. They tangle some more, and Belair knocks Ripley over the top rope for the win, and she's going to WrestleMania, Bianca Belair. Congratulations to the EST for going all the way from number 3. So, she was in there for about 56 minutes. She eliminated a couple, but she got herself the win, and that's all that matters. Has an emotional speech with Charlie Caruso, thanking her parents and her husband and everything else, and there's that. We go to JBL, Charlie Caruso, Pete Rosenberg at the panel to discuss tonight's happenings. Champion R-Truth comes up for comedy. Rosenberg ends up shaking him, low blowing him, taking the championship, and running away. Peter Rosenberg won the 24/7 championship. Can he take it, melt it down, and make a 24/7 chain? Because honestly, I don't care. And the problem with it is that you had fucking JBL have this big shocked look on his face, like, what What just happened? Fuck, Robert Stone from fucking Fox won the 24/7 championship 2 years ago? And this is supposed to be some kind of big deal? Then you had Corey Graves is like, if one bright spot came out of it is that David Arquette is off the hook. I don't fucking think so. David Arquette won a World Heavyweight Championship, an actual title that means something. Peter Rosenberg won a fucking 24/7 championship that means nothing. Do not compare, and that's just WWE taking another shot at WCW, plain and simple. Last man standing, WWE Universal title match, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. This was fantastic. These two beat the fuck out of each other. They fought over the LED boards. They fought in the back. You had Roman Reigns taking Kevin Owens to the very top of the Thunderdome video boards, throwing him off. Not enough. They go to the back. Apparently, they have a place to practice their matches. Something that, remember back when FTR and Johnny Gargano and DIY had that really great match? The Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and them and the Bullet Club pretty much at the time made fun of them for practicing before they had their match, which is something that they don't do. Well, apparently, the main roster is practicing too, because you have legit, they had a ring set up and they had a mini commentary booth set up. So it's like, what do they do during the week? Do they sit there and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? Do they have people at these commentators and wrestlers having practice matches back here? It's like, holy shit. That is lame as fuck. But they go through the announce table. Kevin Owens sets him up. Kevin Owens sets Roman Reigns up on a couple of tables that were sitting there. Gets a forklift, puts it as high as he can, climbs up top. I thought, Roman's going to move. That's the obvious thing. But no, he hits a swanton, and just takes out Roman. There were many times in this match when it really looked like Roman Reigns was going to lose. Many times in this match it looked like Roman might lose. Now, they get back to the stage area. Roman spears Kevin Owens through the LED boards. Roman looks like he's going to win here, but Kevin Owens, because of the way the stage is set up, was able to roll off at 9. Roman was pissed off about that. Goes to Gorilla for a second. We don't see what he does. He comes back and he has handcuffs in his hands. So he starts beating up Kevin Owens in the head with the handcuffs. I'm surprised he didn't bust Kevin Owens open. Goes to cuff him. Kevin Owens fights that off. Kevin Owens ends up cuffing Roman Reigns. As he gets the cuffs, he beats him up a little bit with the cuffs too, but cuffs his gloved hand. And then there's a stanchion right there that is used for the setup. He pulls the cuff all the way through, and cuffs it at the other end. And there's no fucking way Roman Reigns was going to be able to get up in time after this. He was going to be counted down. The referee, like a fucking idiot, starts counting and gets closer and closer and closer to Reigns. So he gets to 9. Reigns grabs the referee, pulls him into a part of the set, knocking his ass out. Kevin Owens there's nothing Kevin Owens can do. Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman comes out of nowhere, gets the key, eventually unhooks Roman Reigns, whose wrist has got to be fucking killing him because he had that shit on him tight. And he had the chain as far away as he could. So yeah, that had to be fucking hurting. Gets on to Kevin Owens, puts him in a guillotine, passes him out. Kevin Owens can't beat the 10 count. Roman Reigns wins. I would have to say kind of a little bit of an anticlimactic end to the match. Honestly, if he could have just won with a guillotine, he could have ended this match a lot sooner. That's just my opinion. Other than that, a really good, barbaric fucking match. These guys beat the living shit out of each other. But in the end, Roman Reigns wins. And then our main event, the 30-man Royal Rumble match. Now, last night on Backstage, they announced number 1 and number 2. This is red flag number 1 to this match and how it's going to be booked. Why would WWE all of a sudden be okay with letting us know who number 1 and number 2 is. That's a red flag right there. Red flag number 2 was Edge and Randy Orton were fighting. Edge got the hell beat out of him in this match, plain and simple. He lasted a very long time, but in the early stages, it was him and Randy Orton starting us out. Before the match even started, Randy Orton comes down for number 2, and Edge just bum rushes out of the ring to the stage and beats the hell out of him. They don't even start the match immediately. They fight a little bit to the outside. They finally get inside. The match starts. They go back outside. They fight some more. Sami Zayn comes out in number 3. He does nothing but beats the hell out of Edge with Randy Orton. Mustafa Ali comes out at number 4. They're beating the hell out of Edge. Then, number 5 comes out and it's Jeff Hardy. He drops Orton with a twist of fate. Hardy fights off Sami and Ali now. Hardy with a whisper in the wind on both of them on the pop. Sami blocks a twist of fate and Orton drops him with an RKO. Sami yells at Hardy and Orton hypes him up. Turns on him, drops him with an RKO. Then he drops Ali with an RKO. Spear from Edge to Randy Orton. Orton rolls to the floor with a breather. Edge follows and sends Orton face first into the ring post. Then he announces the table a few times. Edge places Orton on the top of the table. Then he announces scatter. Edge pulls Orton up, but Orton goes for the RKO. It's blocked and Edge drops him face first onto the table. It buckles but doesn't break. Number 6 comes out and it's Dolph Ziggler. Then Edge gets a steel chair. Orton's back. Shots over Orton's back at ringside. He takes a shot to his legs now, an official shot to break it up. Orton and Edge brawl at ringside. Orton is down selling the chair shots and he's bleeding. Ziggler runs in and eliminates a distracted Hardy. And then here comes the next red flag of how I knew this was going to fucking go. Remember the 2016 Royal Rumble? Remember how much bullshit that was? Remember who started out number 1? It was Roman Reigns. Do you know what happened? The League of Nations came out and they beat the hell out of him, put him through the announce table, and he was sent to the back for 95% of the match. This case, Randy Orton, knee is injured. He gets sent to the back. We don't know if he's going to be back. Obviously he is. They booked this match for Edge to be the Iron Man. 1, that's a problem. Edge doesn't need it. Edge did not need to be the Iron Man. Somebody young should have been the Iron Man to build them up as a up-and-coming star. Number 2, Edge, of course, makes it into the final 2. Who was the other final 2? Randy fucking Orton. I knew when they named Edge and Randy Orton as 1 and 2 last night on Backstage that they're going to go the fucking distance, but I didn't expect them to do this bullshit. Look at what was it, the 95 Rumble, the 94 Rumble, whenever the fuck it happened when Shawn Michaels won from the number 1 spot. Him and British Bulldog went the entire match. Yes, they laid around majority of the match, but they didn't have one of them go to the back injured. This was garbage. As soon as Randy Orton went to the back, nothing else that happened in this match fucking mattered. Nothing. From the time Randy Orton went to the back to the time he returned at the end of the match, nothing else in this fucking match mattered because you knew Edge and Randy Orton were going to be the final fucking 2. I knew it, and if you didn't see it fucking coming, you haven't been fucking paying attention long enough. So yes, Edge went the distance. He went 56 fucking minutes and won the goddamn fucking Royal Rumble. I don't even want to go over the rest of the fucking match because it doesn't fucking matter. Because you knew when they named Randy Orton and Edge as the number 1 and number 2 slot that they were going to be the first 2 in and the last 2 out. What happened at the end? Edge eliminated Seth Rollins, thought he won, Orton hit an RKO, looked like he was going to win, and Randy Orton got tossed down, Edge won the fucking Royal Rumble. Do you know what that fucking means? Drew McIntyre is on borrowed fucking time. I see a lot of people going, well, maybe it's going to be Edge and Roman Reigns or Edge and Drew McIntyre. No, motherfuckers. Have you forgot? What was Vince McMahon's plan months ago for WrestleMania? Edge versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. It's gonna fucking happen. That's the reason that Randy Orton won the championship in the first place at Hell in a Cell. He was supposed to carry that into WrestleMania. But plans changed, and they gave it to Drew McIntyre again. Why? Because they didn't want to do Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, because some dumbass, some genius forgot that that Survivor Series was in between Hell in a Cell and TLC. They could have had Randy Orton not win the championship at Hell in a Cell, get to Survivor Series, and have Randy Orton win the championship at TLC, but no, they didn't go that route. Also in this match, we had Carlito, who looked fucking phenomenal. I will say that. Carlito looked phenomenal in this match. He looked like if WWE wanted to sign Carlito, which I wouldn't say they should, even though I know why he was there, because tomorrow he's supposed to be having a tryout for a producer role. But look what happened with MVP. MVP made his return last year. Didn't do much in the Rumble. Same thing with Carlito here. And then he was a producer. He was supposed to be a backstage producer who did a little bit on TV, but because of the whole scamdemic thing, he got producer job was gone, and he became an on-screen person, and now he has the Hurt Business, one of the best things on Monday Night Raw. One of the only good things on Monday Night Raw. So, could we see Carlito back on a Monday Night Raw or back on Smackdown? Maybe. But again, doesn't fucking matter, because you knew who was going to be in the final two, and you knew how this was going to fucking go. We also had the Hurricane made his return. Why? I don't fucking know. Hurricane Helms was just on AEW a couple months ago doing the Elite Deletion match, or whatever the fuck that match Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy had. Also, Kane made a return. Why? Because he had to get one elimination and get one more fucking Rumble, because they gotta pad his Rumble stats as much as they can. Daniel Bryan was eliminated earlier, before anyone else wanted him to. People wanted Daniel Bryan to win, but did he? Fuck no. Was he going to win? Fuck no. I am so disappointed in how this match went out. Like I said, I could go over everything that happened, but it doesn't fucking matter. After Randy Orton was taken to the back, you can just skip to the end and how this show went. By the way, where the fuck was Keith Lee? I sort of remember, didn't Keith Lee declare himself for the Royal Rumble, or did I miss that somewhere? I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line Keith Lee declared himself for the Royal Rumble, but he wasn't there. No Keith Lee. Matt Riddle had a better showing in this match than he did, I believe, last year, which... that's good, but did you think he was going to win? Hell no. Also, Christian, the first time in 7 years he's had a real match. And it was the Royal Rumble. Why? I don't fucking know. Last I remember, the reason they did what they did with Christian and Randy Orton last year, where they had Ric Flair do a low blow, and then had... Ric Flair do the low blow and then Christian get kicked in the punting in the face, is because he couldn't wrestle a match because he wasn't going to be able to get cleared. So him and Edge got to have a little embrace, and that was great for them. Matt Riddle tried to bro out with them and everything. It was just Dominic got to eliminate Baron Corbin, which that's good on him. Damian Priest also made his main roster debut. I'm probably sure he'll be on Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. But he, I think, got the biggest elimination of them all for people who... he actually got to eliminate Kane. He eliminated a good bit, actually. So, he got to do pretty well. I wish he could have went a little bit longer, but hey. It was his first Royal Rumble, and Damian Priest looked great. It's just... I'm very disappointed with how WWE went with this match. Up until this match, everything was great. It was good to great on this show. This was I wanted to come on here and be like, this was the best Royal Rumble. Everything from top to bottom was awesome. And then you book this match. You went the Roman Reigns fucking route, and then the same fucking thing with Roman Reigns. Roman came back a little bit earlier than Randy Orton did, and ended up getting eliminated anyway. So you booked the same type of shit with him that you did with Royal Rumble, with Roman Reigns. And it was fucking stupid. I just don't get why WWE thought that was a good fucking idea. WWE has a massive problem. Outside of Drew McIntyre last year, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch the year before that, who have they actually put over? Oh, they did Charlotte last year, but Daniel Bryan was the last one they gave the ball to. And it wasn't his fault that he had to drop it because just injuries happen. WWE does not trust their up-and-coming talent. They don't. You can just tell every fucking time. This is the, 5th or 6th Royal Rumble, road to WrestleMania, and a Hall of Famer or a legend is going to be headlining it. Like, holy shit. A part-timer is going to be just, I can't even with this show, with this guys and with this company more. It's like, what the fuck? Let's see. I got the Wikipedia page up right here. The last few WrestleManias, you had Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre, which was the main event on night 1, or night 2. Undertaker and AJ Styles in the Boneyard match for night 1. 2 part-timers, one winning, one losing. The year before that, you had Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair going into the main event for the women for the first time. You had a part-timer in there. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34. The Undertaker versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33. Triple H versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 32. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 31. And Randy Orton versus Batista versus Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 30. John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 29. John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 28. The Miz and John Cena at WrestleMania 27 was the last fucking time you did not have a part-timer in the main event. John Cena's a part-timer now, but back in 2011, he was not a part-timer. He was still wrestling all the time. If you want to not count that one, then you would have to go, let me see here. WrestleMania 25. Randy Orton versus Triple H, because at the time, 2009 WrestleMania, because 2010, Undertaker was becoming a part-timer by then. But WrestleMania 25, if you don't count John Cena versus The Miz, because whatever. But yeah, 10 fucking years. 10 fucking years that you're going to have a part-fucking-timer in the main event of WrestleMania. Give me a fucking break. You see right here, you have Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, Fiend, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre. Of the 5 of them, 4 of them are young men and women who should be having that spotlight. Now, Roman Reigns will probably be the one in the main event because Roman Reigns wants to be in the one. Vince McMahon wants Roman Reigns to be the face of the company and in the main event. If he's not facing Goldberg or a part-timer, that'll be the first time in almost 10 years that we've not had a part-timer in the main event. But there are 2 nights. The WWE title will be defending on one show, and the Universal Championship will be defended on the other night. So there's going to be at least one person, one main event this year with a part-timer in the main event. It's absolutely ridiculous. I just can't even with this company. WrestleMania 37 is going to be a 2-night event. I don't know how they're going to even make Raymond James Stadium worth going to 2 nights in a row. I just don't understand how they're going to even think that's a good idea. But that WWE needs to start giving the trust to the main stars, to the guys you got to build up. What is Vince McMahon going to do if they call up and they want to bring out The Undertaker? The Undertaker is no longer available. Goldberg, he's no longer available. Stone Cold's not wrestling anymore. The Rock's not going to fucking wrestle probably anytime soon, except for maybe in 2-3 years. They need to build big stars, so like in 10 years or 15 years from now, when they want to bring in old stars to try and hype things up, you have them. Yes, you have a Seth Rollins, you have a Roman Reigns, but they aren't on the level of an Goldberg or a Stone Cold or a Rock or even a Hulk Hogan or Ric fucking Flair. Even though almost nobody's on their level, but you know what I mean. It's like if you had a scale of 1 to 10 talent that you could rely on right now, Goldberg, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock were all in 10. All in the 10 right now. Everybody else who's on the main roster right now is in the 5s or 6s. Nobody's going to get up to that 10 because WWE doesn't give them the time of day. It's just, what is the fucking point? Like I said, I could have went over the entire thing, what happened in the Men's Rumble, but again, when you start it like that and you send Randy Orton to the back with a quote-unquote injury, if you haven't been paying attention, and remember 5 fucking years ago, they did the same exact thing with Roman, everything that happens in between there doesn't fucking matter because you know who's going to be in the final 2 and you know how it's going to go. Good pay-per-view up until the main event. The main event was just... It wasn't a bad Rumble, bad finish. Bad start, bad finish. I would have been better off, in my opinion, it would have been better off if you wanted to have Edge win, which I wouldn't have had him win. I wouldn't have done it from the number 1 spot. Yes, he's going to be the 3rd man to do it, but the only 2nd man they're actually going to talk about in the future. But I would have had Randy Orton come out at number 2, Edge come out maybe 15 or so, have Edge come out early, have Randy Orton come out later, have Edge rush from the ring to go beat him up. They have the big brawl, whatever, and go from there. It was so bad booking. It was pitiful. I don't know who thought this was a good fucking idea. Don't tell me Vince McMahon thought that was a good fucking idea, because that was an awful idea. But that is your Royal Rumble review. 5 out of 10 on the event overall. Everything else is a 5. It gets you a point, but the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble, takes it down to a 5. I can't accept that. You want to do that? You want to do that to the second biggest pay-per-view of the year? You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Start pushing the young guns. Start giving them the time of day, and stop relying on the old timers. Ric Flair helping Lacey Evans, fine, whatever. He's doing something by hopefully helping make somebody a bigger star later down the line. I don't want to see Goldberg in a match. I don't want to see Edge wrestling. I don't want to see Christian wrestling. Give the guys who are there, besting their asses day in and day out, the title opportunities they have worked their asses on. What is the fucking point of giving these people the brass ring talk and talking about saying, if you work all year, you'll earn yourself a spot at WrestleMania, if they're not going to be able to get in the WWE Championship picture? What is the fucking point? Who's Roman going to wrestle? Is it going to be Goldberg versus Roman Reigns? Because they didn't get it last year, they want to do it this year so Goldberg can pass the torch, even though he just lost in 2 minutes and 30 seconds to Drew McIntyre. I don't know. Hope you all are prepared, though, because they made it real obvious that the winner of the match at WrestleMania is going to be Randy Orton versus Edge. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Elimination Chamber, they're going to have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and 4 other guys in the Elimination Chamber. Orton's going to win the Elimination Chamber, win the championship, and take it to WrestleMania to take on Edge. That's where they're going with it, and I bet you they're going to do that. But that is your Royal Rumble review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/thefrance Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Raw, and we'll see where they go with this. But until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.